This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
I'm Tim.
And Tim! The mighty Tim is back.
Yeah, there should be some sort of fanfare playing right now.
I was trying to remember how, wrestling, professional wrestling introductions go. Not amateur wrestling. Amateur wrestling introductions.
Not interested.
I don't think they even say your name when you get out there to wrestle. You know, usually
Really?
usually a lot of other matches are going on at the same time.
Oh, you mean like high school, like not?
Yeah, like high school wrestling. Yeah, or Olympic style wrestling.
Yeah, nobody cares about that.
But
no, they would be like, you would be like, "Hi, I'm Tom. This is Complete Guide to Everything, and today we're going to talk about." And then you'd be like, "What's that?"
and there would be some kind of the crowd would start going nuts, and I'd start looking around the ring all scared.
And you'd hear, "Here comes the hot stepper, come on."
Right. Or the Hulk Hogan song was like, "I am a real American."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come out to that and be like, "Oh my God, it's Tim.
Oh my God, he's back." But yeah, we unfortunately we didn't have the budget to do any of those things.
Yeah, no, my wife and I welcomed our first child, and a month ago, 6 weeks ago, I don't know.
A lot of holes in your story.
And I
first
took
off,
some
I mean, Tim,
leave.
I've seen this kid. This kid's at least 7 years old. I don't know what you guys are trying to pull.
I took some paternity leave. Christine filled in for me on this show. She did a great job. Laura filled in on the Patreon side. She did a great job. Look, I'm just going to get this out of the way. I'm back. Forget about them. Even if you preferred them. Sorry, this is my show.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear any, "Oh, Christine was so great. She was so funny. And now Tim, the sad sack, is back. It's here to complain about so tough shit." This is the show. It's the show. The show is me complaining about stuff and Tom also complaining about stuff.
Yeah.
That's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah. You started the show. We started the show together. The show is half yours. It's your right to come back. Push out somebody who maybe people liked a lot more.
Maybe they found her refreshing and kind and a fresh new voice with a better perspective, more entertaining, more interesting than me. Hey, tough noogies, guys. I'm here. It's mine.
Yeah. And you've already you laid into me off microphone about having women on the show in general.
Tom, all right, enough. I come back and now you're going to turn the tables on me.
What was the word you were calling me? A cuck, a beta cuck?
Oh, brother.
For having women on, you said that it was emasculating to me for you to hear me talking with women on the show.
This makes me wish I didn't come back, Tom. This sort of shoddy treatment. Real quick, I just want to thank everybody. I got so many nice messages from the Complete Guide community and listeners. Thank you. I'm very bad at replying to tweets or emails and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you barely reply to me when I message you, so...
I don't do that stuff. And look, come 2022.
I don't do that stuff. I don't get back to people.
Yeah, and guess what, Tom? My New Year's resolution is to do that stuff less, even less than I'm doing.
Well, I don't know.
So
if that's
2022,
possible.
Good luck. Good luck tracking me down. But thank you, everybody, for reaching out. It was very nice. I heard from a lot of people and got a lot of well wishes.
Yeah. A lot of people, everybody was very nice about it. There was not one person who was demanding you come back early.
I mean, there were some people, Tom.
Well, there were some people that wished you were back, but they didn't demand. They didn't come to me and say, "Enough is enough. Tell them to come back."
Yeah, no, I thought that was a dig at me. That was nobody wanted you to come back. And guess what? Hey. I know nobody wanted me to come back, but I'm here. It's mine. I have squatters' rights.
I'm sure some sickos wanted you back.
They want to hear about the Grinch. There's only one man to hear about the Grinch.
That's true. Yeah, you wouldn't get an episode about the Grinch from Christine.
Now, taking a couple hours away from caring for my newborn child to yell about the Grinch on the internet, are they going to take the baby away from me?
Look, Tim, it's something both of our fathers did when we were newborns.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, of course, the internet wasn't around, but they both called into local radio stations to get angry about the Grinch.
Hey, look, I'm sure everybody in the all of our relatives, all of our ancestors would be so proud of us, Tom, for what we're doing here. Two brave men.
If you brought back any of our ancestors and showed them what this looks like right now, they'd die of a heart attack. They would just die.
You know how you're supposed to, like, when a boomer tells you about, like, oh, in my day, like, I had a job and I bought a house and started a family, and you're supposed to be like, oh, well, you know what, like, this is what the economy is like now, and have you ever heard of inflation? But then it's just like, if they saw, like, oh, and part of my job is just talking about the Grinch from the corner of my apartment with my friend on a Thursday night, I think they'd be like, well, yeah, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't be able to buy a house.
Yeah, back then, there was like, only one man makes money off the Grinch, and that's Dr. Seuss. Yeah. And he had to go to medical school to be able to do that.
We'll talk about that, Tom.
Yeah, I know he's not a real doctor. He's like a doctor of chiropractic, one of those.
I heard you make this mistake with Christine last week. It's chiropractic.
No, I think there's two.
No, it's not. What?
Tim, how is being a dad so far? That's what everybody wants to hear.
Yeah, it's cool, Tom. It's lovely. It's fulfilling. My son is a lot of fun. He's very cute. Mm-hmm. We love him very much. One thing, did you know this? Did you know how much, like, tracking of stuff is involved when you have a newborn?
Like what they're doing?
Like, you have to be like, oh, okay, I had to keep track of, like, when did we feed him? How much did he eat? And, like, the thing
how many French fries did he have?
Yeah, exactly. He drinks a lot of milkshakes. We French fries, no, Tom, but we put milkshakes in his bottle.
A baby needs milk, Tim.
Exactly.
And if all the baby will drink is milkshakes, then, you gotta adapt.
Yeah. No, you track every time you change his diaper and, like, what time, and, like, like, I don't know if it is an app. What's it called? It's called Huckleberry. You track everything, like his sleep. But I realized that I have a record of every single weird thing in my phone. I can look up and tell you every poop.
Oh.
That, like, the time that a poop happened for this kid's entire life.
Does it sync with your wife or something? Do you both just use... Okay.
Yeah. But
how long do you got to keep this going?
What would you give to have a record of every bowel movement you ever made in your life? Just for, like, and, like, you could plot it out on a graph.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe on, like, your kid's 18th birthday, you can... lay down like a telephone-sized book and be like, here it is, pal.
Now hit the road.
You're on your own now. Let this be your guide.
It's time we potty train you.
Yeah. Well, you're a couple of years away from potty training, I guess, at least.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no, there's when they tell you, like, oh, you don't really sleep that much when you're a new parent, and you're like, those people are probably lying. They're being dramatic.
I'm laughing because I heard this from Christine. Because Christine told me that she talked to you, and she was like, yeah, like, Tim's really tired all the time. And she's like, I think he was like... didn't think it was that big of a deal. And I was like, no, I can tell you exactly what he thought. He thought everybody else was a big baby and made a big deal about something that shouldn't be a big deal.
To clarify, I didn't think everybody was being a big baby. I thought it was a conspiracy that all parents were like, oh, let's just say it'll get us off the hook for a lot of things.
Right. Everybody will leave us alone.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just kind of like, they tell you things when you're in the hospital and you have a baby. They come and like tell you how to like burp it and how to swaddle it. And I could imagine them coming in and being like, all right, you're still going to get 8 to 9 hours of sleep every night, but you have to tell everybody that you're up every 2 hours and, you're running on fumes. That way you can get away with a bunch of stuff. Mm-hmm. That's what I was expecting, that talk. I never got that talk at the hospital. I came home.
Went
went
to the wrong hospital.
Turns out I'm sleeping like 3 hours a night. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, when Christine was telling me this, she was telling me that when she saw you guys, that you repeated like the same story to her like 5 times. She's like, I think Tim has brain damage.
Yeah.
I did find. Sorry to interrupt. Have you been changing your son yet and have him pee in your face like they do in movies?
Yeah, not necessarily on my face, but I've definitely been
like, whoa, whoa,
that's not
look
a
out.
thing. That was another thing that I was like, yeah, that's movie magic. That happens because they need a good laugh line in a movie.
Right, but a real baby knows, hey, come on, don't do that. It's rude.
Well, I just thought it just like might happen once in a while. It happens like a lot.
Yeah, because think about like, a diaper is like a little constrictive, and then you take the diaper off, and it's probably like, oh, all right, there we go.
Yeah, but here's the conceit, Tom. He's already peed in the diaper.
Well, he's.
It's not like, oh, now I'm relaxed, I'm going to pee some more. Or like, it should just be like, get your pee. You can pee whenever you want.
Yeah.
Like, don't wait for the fresh air.
I mean, it's probably nice. Know. I'd rather pee into the air than pee into a cloth right up against my wiener.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you've really got you've gotten into the head of an infant quite effectively, Tom.
Well, look, Tim, anytime you want me to have a talk with your son about all this, I'd be happy to.
Did Christine really say that I repeated the same story like 5 times?
Yeah.
I'm steamed now. I take back all the nice things I said about her. Tom, enough about babies. This is we got to get down to the important topic at hand.
Yeah,
the Grinch.
It's holiday month here at the Complete Guide to Everything.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody loves the Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to, or some people hate the Grinch. This is my question about the Grinch.
Okay.
I have a lot of questions about the Grinch. First of all,
this is like when I do an episode and I'm like too excited about things. That's how you are right now.
Tom, let me tell you something.
You got too many thoughts to share about the Grinch.
I do have a lot of thoughts, and I really started doing some research, and I was really going to organize all my thoughts. And then the baby was all like fuzzy and cranky today. So like this, you might have to keep me on track here a little bit. It's not my thoughts aren't as organized as I'd like them to be.
Especially when talking about such an important subject.
Well, yeah. It's a hot button topic, Tom. And I want to make clear off the bat here, I'm not talking about like a specific movie. This isn't like, oh, we're going to discuss the, Jim Carrey, how the Grinch Stole Christmas.
No, you're talking about the man.
The man, the Grinch, the guy.
Yeah.
And that includes the movies and the books and the specials and all of that.
Costumed appearances.
Yeah, but I'm also, I have a lot of questions about the Grinch in general. What were you going to ask about the Grinch?
I was going to ask what the fuck he is.
He's a Grinch. Now, that was what I was going to say. If you shaved the Grinch or, like, plucked all his feathers or whatever's all over him, God. Would he just look like a man?
I'm going to guess that the Grinch is still green underneath. But, yeah, he's got that weird, like, plumage around his neck, a la Kermit the Frog, kind of.
Right.
Which
he's got a big pot belly too.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got like weird feet. He's got weird hands. Everything's kind of hairy.
But compare him to the Who's of Whoville. Their bodies kind of like are the Who's people?
I think like a version of people, I think.
Here's what I want to know about Dr. Seuss. What universe do his tales take place in? Right? Are these is this a different planet? These don't happen on Earth, right? Because they got like Sneetches and Loraxes.
Yeah,
and
it's some kind of a different reality at the very least.
Yeah. It's just weird to think about. But then the Grinch has a dog, just like a regular dog.
Well, I mean, it's still kind of a weird looking dog, but yeah, it looks a lot more like a regular dog than actually it's not weird looking. I'm looking at a picture of the dog smiling and it looks weird because it smiles like the Grinch.
Yeah, but like it looks more like a dog than Pluto.
Yeah. Yeah. His dog Max, the dog has a name,
right.
Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think we should name animals.
Not even pets.
Yeah. Now that I have a kid, I'm one of those people that are like, oh, you have a pet and you think that's something? The smug parents.
Yeah. I mean,
you think having a dog, it's like having a kid? you got another thing coming.
What was I going to say about the Grinch? You threw me off there, Tim. You threw me off my Grinch game by bringing up being smug about people who have pets and that pets shouldn't have names. I was going to say, like, do you know, to bring things back to Marvel for a moment, that like Thanos, his species looks just like regular people. They're purple, but they look like regular people, but he has like a mutation. That's why he's got like that big wrinkly chin and stuff.
Got it. And he's from space?
Yeah. So I'm thinking the Grinch, it's like that kind of a situation where like he's human, but he's got some kind of a mutation, or he's not human. He's
a
Whovillian.
Right.
But he's got some kind of mutation, presumably caused by his Grinchy ways, by his, well, I mean, maybe it is similar to a Thanos situation. Like part of like the Thanos plot or backstory is like, oh, this is also why he's a bastard, because he looked different and he was bullied his whole life for that.
Yeah, you get ostracized. And I think there are numerous origin stories that have been put forward for the Grinch.
Yeah.
Most after Dr. Seuss's death. So I don't know how much stock to put in them. But okay, you said he was Grinchy.
Yeah.
Are you surprised? Like, did you always think that Grinch was just a word that meant like a curmudgeon and like an ill-tempered fellow or a misanthrope? Because Grinch, like that comes from the Grinch. That's a word that Dr. Seuss invented.
I think I knew that just because like I associate being a Grinch with being a Scrooge, and that, it's obvious where that came from. So I think that's why I assumed Grinch was always, came from Dr. Seuss. Did you not think that?
I just thought it was so ubiquitous to like, to describe things like, or he's being a Grinch or you're being Grinchy or something, that like, he was like, oh, and then they named a character like the Seven Dwarfs, or like, oh, Sleepy is like, imagine like
Sleep. Where that
we got the word sleep from Sleepy, one of the Seven Dwarfs.
Well, but I mean, being a Grinch is like a very specific term. You're talking about somebody who's like trying to ruin Christmas. They're being a Grinch.
It can be anything. It can be.
It shouldn't be used that way. Then those people are wrong.
You're a purist in that sense.
Yeah, if you're saying like, oh, somebody's trying to ruin my birthday, they're being a Grinch. It's like, no, they're not, unless your birthday's on Christmas. And ruining your birthday is just a byproduct of them trying to ruin Christmas.
Listen, if
I guess it is.
If your birthday's on Christmas, your birthday's already ruined. I'm sorry.
I guess it's kind of like a
can't compete with Jesus, Tom.
That's true. I guess it could be used to describe somebody who's trying to ruin a situation where literally everybody else is having a blast. Everybody else is having a good time.
Right.
And one person is coming in and they don't want anyone to have a good time.
Right.
That's the Grinch to me.
Have you ever been described as a Grinch? You do it unknowingly. You ruin everybody's good times, not on purpose.
Just by
being yourself.
Just by showing up to places I'm invited.
Exactly.
No, I don't think so. Well, and I'm also seeing, that the Grinch really shines, at least in his own mind during Christmas time, but he's a Grinch kind of all the time.
Yeah. I mean, he lives up on that mountaintop all secluded.
Yeah. It's really only during Christmas that he comes down, right? And that's just to ruin things, like in the middle of the night, not even during the day.
No, I mean, wait, you say he doesn't come down at night?
No, he does come down at night.
He's got no interest in fraternizing with the Who's.
Right.
He's going down there under cover of night to steal Christmas, but it's not like he goes down there to murder people at night. Like, he had an idea that was like, oh, I know what I'll do but normally I think 364 days a year or however many days of the year, on whatever planet's calendar they have.
Right. Who knows how fast that planet's spinning. I
think he's just sitting in his cave I don't know, watching InfoWars or something.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Wikipedia article, and in Seuss's book, it's quoted, "No one quite knows the reason for the Grinch's grudge." But then, right. in the Jim Carrey movie, they give him a backstory because everything's got to have a backstory. Well, I guess also everything has to have a backstory if you're trying to make a 2-hour movie out of a 20-page children's picture book.
The original TV special I think was 25 minutes long or something.
Yeah.
So they didn't have to. They just had a nice song,
mm-hmm.
A couple nice songs.
Yeah.
And you just do the book. Tom, I just want to correct you on something.
What's that?
I'm quoting the Dartmouth jack-o'-lantern.
The Darknet jack-o'-lantern? Okay.
Dartmouth. You love the Darknet. You love the internet.
Well, I'm not the one out there quoting it.
It's I think a Dartmouth alumni magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And they say and he went to Dartmouth, Tom.
The Grinch did?
No, Dr. Seuss.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
I don't know where the Grinch matriculated, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe that's explained in the backstory. You're as wrong as the deuce, and you shouldn't rejoice. If you're calling him Seuss, he pronounces it Soyce. These Ivy League eggheads want us to believe that it's Dr. Soyce.
Yeah, it's not Dr. Soyce, it's Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
When did this come about? These eggheads?
Let's see.
And I mean, Dr. Seuss Seuss is his middle name. Is Theodore, and Theodore is spelled weird. Seuss Geisel. Yeah. Or Giesel.
Well, he switched to that to Seuss. He changed the pronunciation.
But it is
to be associated with Mother Goose. Oh, Dr. Seuss and Mother Goose.
And who wouldn't want to be associated with Mother Goose?
She was like a big hen or something, or a duck.
She was a goose, Tim.
A goose. Oh, I see. Tom, I mentioned I haven't been sleeping there in the name. I just thought it was a Humpty Dumpty situation where it was just we all assume he's an egg, but they never tell us he's an egg. But they tell you she's a goose right in the name. I gotta get some sleep, Tom. Do you think you could do the rest of this on your own? We get Christine back in here.
You know what, Tim? I don't think I have strong enough opinions about the Grinch to do this all on my own.
He added doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a doctor, but he made it his pen name because his father always wanted him to practice medicine and become a doctor. Could you I see once you're like a successful author and you have the success where it's like, hey, but like, do you think if he was like sad when he was like, oh, I'm gonna write books about like sneeches and snoodles and breeches and boodles and
that's pretty much as far as you can get from being a medical doctor.
Yeah, aren't you proud of me, Dad? And I took on doctor, and like before he got published or something, you think his dad was like, brother?
Yeah. Also, like, I mean, I guess the publisher was like, yeah, that's fine. We'll print that your Dr. Seuss on these books.
Can you imagine the exposés that would come out these days, Tom?
Oh, boy. Yeah. Who is this Dr. Seuss out here calling himself a doctor?
It'd be like what was A Million Little Pieces guy?
Yeah. He doesn't even have...
Oprah would call Dr. Seuss onto her show and just fucking yell at him. Just scream at him. Yeah. Apologize. Well, apologize to the readers of Oprah's book club.
Well, yeah, she was mad. She's like, you're messing with Oprah's bread maker here.
Oprah's bread maker.
Yeah, it makes it makes her the bread. No, it's not that she likes bread, Tim. Although
but she does like bread. She did. She I think she became like a Weight Watchers spokesperson. And she was just like, hey, I like bread.
Yeah, who doesn't?
I like bread, and I'm going to eat it. And on Weight Watchers, I can still eat it.
Yeah.
And then I'll have a chef make me
the most
delicious meals.
Yeah. Well, I was saying I was using bread as a euphemism for money.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah. So in this context, bread maker is Oprah's show. That makes her bread, and the book club also makes her bread.
That's a cool that's cool slang. Bread, you say, for money.
And then if you have like a big famous book club and you put a book on it that was written by a liar, you can say, hey, you're messing with my bread maker. What the hell? Hey, you're going in.
That's her backstage.
You're going in.
She'd never say bread maker on stage.
You're fiddling with all the knobs on my bread maker. You're opening up the hood before the bread's ready.
The hood.
Yeah. It's one of those big models. You're putting too much yeast into my bread maker. The bread's going to rise too high.
That's what you want, more bread.
No, because then the bread gets too fluffy.
It's more bread than you know what to do with.
Or it tastes like yeast. Now it's going to come up, it's going to hit the hood. Cause all kinds of problems. Get stuck in all the gears of the bread maker.
Hey, listen, James Frey.
Yeah.
Putting too much yeast in my bread.
Yeah. Hey, let's keep the stories honest, huh, pal? Let's keep it to a million little pieces instead of a million little lies.
Wow, that's probably what she said to it. I mean, if she had some extra time to think about it, I'm sure she would have landed on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, she only had time to come up with the bread maker euphemism.
The yeast represents the lies.
Yeah. Oh, and he's putting too much in.
Yeah.
Just a little.
You need a little bit of lies.
Right. You need to gussy up a story.
At the heart of every book, there's a sprinkling of lies.
Of course.
And that's what enchants us all. Tom the Grinch. Crap. My baby's crying. Hold on. All right, Tom. Enough about yeast and bread and Oprah's bread machine.
AKA her show and book club.
Yeah, we have to talk about the Grinch. First of all, though, Tom, I can't. I'm still pissed at Christine about. Tim said the same story. I had her. Did I tell the same story a lot when I invited you into my home on Thanksgiving?
Wow.
She had nowhere else to go, Christine.
Well, she had nowhere else to go because of all the bridges she's burned.
Exactly. Well, guess what? Next Thanksgiving, not invited into my home. She might be happy. She won't have to hear the same story 5 times.
I mean, the funny thing is, Tim, she'll never listen to this episode. I don't think she had listened to an episode before coming on the show, and she won't listen to one now.
I know, I'm steamed.
She wins.
All right, The Grinch.
Uh-huh.
You ever read the book, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Tom?
Yeah, not in a very long time.
It's good.
I don't think I have any Dr. Seuss books in here. I burned them all after he was canceled.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about the whole Dr. Seuss kerfluffle.
Yeah.
Earlier this year? What did they took some
Who knows?
They took some books out of They took some books out of print because he used like racial slurs in them or something.
Yeah, but it was books that I had never even heard of. And if you read, I don't think he even had to read between the lines. I think like the Dr. Seuss Trust or whatever that handles the rights to all these books, said like, yeah, we're taking these out because they have like racist caricatures and stuff in them. But also, these books don't sell. Like,
yeah, it's not the Cat in the Hat or the Grinch or the Lorax.
Yeah, we haven't done a print run of these in a long time. But I think they were basically trying to get ahead of like, hey, before somebody at BuzzFeed does an article about these old books, we're just gonna say like, hey, we haven't done a run of those in a while, and we have no plans to ever do a run again.
Yeah.
They're racist books that nobody bought anyway. If there were racist books that everybody was buying,
Yeah. I mean, they'd probably just quietly modify the artwork in there and put them back out, right?
Yeah. Take a page or two out.
Yeah. But then I like how some ghouls went and were like, this is a trample. They're trampling on Dr. Seuss's freedom of speech. And then they went out and bought a bunch of Dr. Seuss books.
Yeah.
Which just gave money to the people that willingly and proactively made this decision to take the other books off.
Well, and those people that proactively made the decision went back to their bosses and were like, sales of the books we have went up 200% after we did this. It seems like everybody really supports it.
So the original book, Tom, published in 1957 as a book, but it was also published in Red Book magazine.
All right. I didn't know.
Isn't Red Book like ladies' fashions or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Red Book.
Ladies' fashions and stories about the Grinch. About a green misanthrope that wants to cancel Christmas.
Red Book is an American women's magazine. It is one of the Seven Sisters, a group of women's service magazines. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I mean, Red Book to me was like, a magazine my mom would bring to the beach.
Right, to read stories about the Grinch, probably.
I mean, I imagine she would probably have just skipped over any stories about the Grinch she found in there. Would you buy a magazine that had a new? I guess you wouldn't.
I was going to ask if you would buy a magazine that there was a new Grinch adventure every month, but why would you?
No, I mean, I don't really buy any magazines nowadays.
And you don't particularly care for the Grinch either, huh?
This was also during like the heyday of magazines where I'm sure the editors were like, we've sold 100 pages of ads. Like, we'll take whatever. And I think too, like nowadays magazines, the only way magazines that are still around survived is by like really narrowing down on their niche. If you ever go to like a Barnes and Noble and look at the magazine section, it's wild nowadays because everything's so specific.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I haven't seen magazines at all lately.
I mean, the only place you could see them is like a bookstore, like a big chain bookstore like Barnes and Noble. And they're just like all oddly specific. Like, I mean, I'm only remembering because I would look at like the computer magazines, but it was like there aren't really even like general like Mac magazines. I guess there are, but like they're not what they used to be. But if you're like, I want to read a Mac magazine for audio professionals, like those magazines are still going strong.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, it is cool. But I'm saying like, I feel like back in the 50s, it was like,
you're not going to find a Grinch story in any of these.
Yeah, because they're like, look, this magazine's 15 pages long. But magazines used to be, thick as phone books. Much like the diary of your child's stool.
Yeah. Stop talking about that, Tom. Well, I can talk about that. You can't talk about that.
I apologize.
Then in 1966, Tom, they made the animated TV special. You know, that was narrated. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Narrated by Boris Karloff. You love that guy.
I mean, he's got that great, you're a mean one.
Yeah. Well, guess what? He can't sing. So he didn't sing the song.
Then who the hell's singing the song?
The guy that does the freaking voice of Tony the Tiger, that's who.
Wow. I mean, it sounds the same.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's weird because there's the narrator who's Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
There's the voice of the Grinch.
Yeah.
Who's Boris Karloff. And then there's the guy who sings the song. Who is that supposed to be the narrator, or is it just another guy who like hates the Grinch?
No, I think it's supposed to be the narrator because
it's a guy that sounds like Boris Karloff.
Yeah, because when he sings, he'll take those breaks and he'll be like, "You're a peanut sandwich with pickles," and like those are spoken. I don't know. It's tough to tell. Tough to tell where the line is.
It is, and I think they prefer it that way.
Whoa, the song was sung by a man named Thrall Ravenscroft.
Yeah, and click on his name. He's Tony the Tiger, my friend.
Yeah, wow. I mean, he's got a name that sounds like, I don't know, he'd be like one of Thor's enemies.
Yeah.
1977, Seuss responded to the fan request for more Grinch tales by writing Halloween is Grinch Night.
Yes. There's no book there. Guess what, Tom? It's a prequel to How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Which,
well, it would have to be.
Because he's a dang Grinch in it. Like at the end of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, he turns into a nice guy. His heart grows like at an alarming rate. Like you should see a cardiologist, but
yeah,
he's like good now. So they can't go back and be like, in 1977, like, guess what? He's a bastard again. You know what? Don't you hate that when in sequels for movies that they didn't think would have a sequel, where it's like, oh, the main character gets everything he wants at the end. He gets the girl and like everything in his life is good. And then there's a sequel and it has to show him like, oh, his life fell apart after the first movie. And it's just like, well, that sucks. That just like erases everything nice from so they couldn't do that. So they made it a prequel.
Yeah. Well, luckily nowadays they plan to make, like 10 sequels, create an expanded universe right off the jump. So they make sure that the first movie doesn't have a complete story.
Exactly. Yeah, end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is in Halloween. The Grinch goes down to Whoville to like, I think just like mess things up, just to like
yeah, well, he is
be an
Grinch.
asshole. Yeah. He wants to wreak havoc.
Yeah. I was going to say you said when at the the other movie had to be a prequel, or the other story had to be a prequel because he still has to be the Grinch. Are you implying that at the end of The Grinch Stole Christmas, he's no longer the Grinch? Because he's still, do you think he's just an animal that shouldn't have a name?
No, now he's just a green who.
No, but he's still got a name. He's still the Grinch. Once again, Tim, you're thinking that the Grinch
I don't think the Grinch is his name. I think it's a title. I think it's I don't think, who else do you know that's called the something?
I don't, the Mooch. Remember that guy? Everybody loved him.
The Mooch?
Anthony Scaramucci?
That's true. But that was a title. That was a nickname.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, the Grinch is probably a nickname.
Like, his name is probably like Dave.
Yeah, it's probably like Dave Grinchstein.
Yeah.
And they just call him the Grinch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty cool. That implies that maybe he was like, in a fraternity, or like, was like a popular mainstay at a local bar in Whoville. Everybody's like, oh, the Grinch. Yo, the Grinch is here.
And you should write one of these feature films where they flesh out his backstory.
Yeah.
It'll take place in dank bars in Whoville for the most part.
Yeah. You can always find the Grinch sitting at Dave Grinchstein sitting at the end of the bar. The Grinch.
It's like the high school weed dealer.
Yeah, and he gives like a little, hey, what's up, fellas?
Yeah, he's like
His eyes
generally
are all
well
bloodshot.
liked. He was cool, yeah. And something happened to Dave Grinchstein, and he was radicalized.
Yeah.
Radicalized by QAnon, and then retreated up to the cave, and only came down to steal Christmas and wreak havoc on Halloween.
Dave Grinchstein got red pilled, and he hasn't come down off that mountain since.
After Halloween is Grinch night, Tom, which, by the way, doesn't end with him. It can't. I like that they kept the continuity going.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't end with him like getting good. Like a kid scares him away and he's like, I'll be back.
Yeah. Wait, what?
He's still a bastard at the end of Halloween night is Grinch night.
On Halloween night. I thought you meant at the end of the Grinch. I'm like, you're reading some, fanfic.
Yeah. And then a couple years after that, Tom, the year of my birth, 1982,
mm-hmm.
The Grinch Grinches the Cat in the Hat.
Oh.
It's a crossover event,
and now
Tom.
that's a pornographic film?
Yeah, Grinch is used as a verb, and it's not clear exactly what Grinch is.
Yeah, what Grinching something is.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound good, though. Doesn't sound family friendly.
No. Tom, this is a true crossover event with the Grinch and the Cat in the Hat.
Okay.
And fittingly...
Now, is this a multiverse situation, or is it implied that they've always existed in the same universe?
Tom, I think it's implied that they've always existed in the same universe, but it's fitting. It was produced by Marvel Productions.
Oh, okay. Now, what the fuck is the Cat in the Hat? Because he's too big to be a cat.
Oh, he's a cat, Tom. Just like Mother Goose is a goose.
Yeah, but he's too big.
Now we're both idiots. And what's your excuse? I'm sleep deprived.
I'm saying the Cat in the Hat's too big to actually be a cat. Also, the Cat in the Hat, you can't trust that guy as far as you can throw him. That guy shows up and he's like, oh, I'm a cat. Yeah, right. Get out of here. That guy lies as easily as he breathes.
What's his deal? Does he come in? Like, he, I think, is worse than the Grinch, right?
Yeah, he just like comes in.
The Grinch, at least you know what his deal is. The Cat in the Hat's like a trickster.
Yeah, better the Grinch you know than the Cat in the Hat you don't. Yeah, the Cat in the Hat
comes and he like gets kids in trouble or something.
Yeah, the
like
Cat
he
in
makes
the
them
Hat
mess up their house.
He comes around when the parents are out and just like destroys the house and then takes off before the parents come home. He's like, I gotta go. I'm meeting up with a friend at a bar. And it's the Grinch.
Dave Grinchington.
Yeah, that's what Dr. Seuss just wrote a bunch of scumbags, a bunch of towny scumbags. That's all his characters are.
Here's how they get into it, though, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
The Grinch wakes up in a good mood one morning, so this isn't a prequel. You know, he's like a good man.
This is the Halloween one.
No, this is the Grinch Grinches the Cat in the Hat.
Okay.
And then he looks in the mirror and he sees his reflection, and Wikipedia says it's possibly an envisionment of his father. But his reflection speaks to him and prompts him to repeat the Grinch's oath, reminding him of his evil side. And then he leaves to prove himself. So, like, He looks in the mirror and maybe the ghost of his father turns him evil again.
Yeah. I mean, that's, yeah. The Grinch doesn't need backstory. That's...
Yeah, and then he just kind of like follows the Cat in the Hat around.
Mhm.
And I think the Grinch tries to like sell him things. I don't know. And then this is another part of the Wikipedia description. The cat in the hat becomes upset with the Grinch's hijinks and has a psychiatric session with him in a thought bubble to find out what makes him so mean-spirited. Okay. He gets nowhere with the imaginary Grinch, though he is briefly triggered by the memory of his deceased mother.
Jesus Christ.
So the cat then decides to go over and have a talk with him. Do you think the Grinch is the Cat in the Hat is a prank pulled on Wikipedia?
I am a little surprised hearing about this that they haven't made a movie based on this, that they haven't decided, ooh, we can do the Seussiverse.
The Soysiverse.
The Soysiverse. Also, I'm thinking about how Mike Myers was the Cat in the Hat in that movie. I've never seen any of these Dr. Seuss movies, like live action movies that they made.
Yeah.
But it is wild to me that like Mike Myers and Jim Carrey, both of them, when these movies were made, were like riding so high. These were like some of the biggest theatrical movie comedy actors out there.
Right.
And I'm kind of shocked that, well, I mean, I guess they both just got thrown an unbelievable amount of money. But it just seems like an awful way to live, to have to put this makeup on every day.
Yeah, and what I don't understand is that like they get paid, like how much did Jim Carrey get paid, or how much did Mike Myers get paid? They got paid like like $40 million to do these movies, and then they were just such bastards about like, I had to do 8 hours of makeup every day. It's like, yeah, I know. And they paid you $40 million.
Well, but I get it if you're like, I made other movies and I didn't have to do all that.
So, like, nobody Dr. Seuss didn't put a gun to their head.
I'm sure that at the time these movies were being made, like probably when they were negotiating or whatever, the producers were probably like, it's basically a Halloween mask. You know, we're going to put it on you. They just have to fix up the edges. 15 minutes, you're out. Like, I could see them both being like dramatically undersold on how much of a commitment sitting in these makeup chairs were going to be.
Yeah, I don't know. Spending a couple months for, I don't know. I'm saying $40 million. It's probably even more than that.
Whereas, I mean, it's funny nowadays because, you know, if you're one of these characters, they're just like, let's put a bunch of dots on your face. and
yeah, exactly.
And we'll just have an army of like essentially slave labor people to fix this later in post. And then as soon as they're done, we'll fire them all.
Tom, How the Grinch Stole Christmas was the 6th highest grossing film of 2000.
All right. Not bad.
Made a lot of money. Ron Howard, TV's Opie, directed it.
Yeah. I was reading that apparently Jack Nicholson and Eddie Murphy both auditioned for the role before it went to Jim Carrey.
I can't imagine that happened.
I can imagine it happening, but for both of those people, I can imagine they were like, so the makeup process, and both of them were like, forget it then.
I don't know.
Eddie Murphy. Yeah, I mean, he went through all that with the clumps, so but maybe that made him even wiser. Maybe he was like, when they told him, I'll take 15 minutes, he was like, no, I was all of the clumps, except for Hercules, the little boy.
Hercules, yeah.
So he was well aware of the kind of time commitment these things would take. But Jack Nicholson, come on. He
is a Grinch. He's the closest thing we have to the real life Grinch right now.
Well,
right?
I guess he, probably that Joker makeup was actually no joke to him.
That Joker makeup didn't take very long.
I think it did. The mouth looks so weird.
His mouth looks kind of weird. That was his own mouth.
But yeah, I'm sure he was like, just put some green makeup on me.
So both of those movies.
You're not going to comment on my Jack Nicholson impression?
It's
Tim?
It's a great.
Thank you. Appreciate
impression, that. Tom. Can you say it again?
Hey, it's me, Jack. Put some green makeup on me.
I like how all your impressions start with the person introducing themselves.
Yeah, well, it's very important so people know who it's an impression of.
It's polite. Everybody agrees that Jack Nicholson is polite. Yep. Is he a jerk?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, everybody was a jerk.
Look at him. Yeah. Well, look at his face. He's got a jerk's face, right?
Yeah.
You know what I heard somewhere that I never considered? Christian Slater was trying to be Jack Nicholson.
In what? When?
Like in the 80s, he was like, I'm going to be the 80s version of like the 60s, 70s Jack Nicholson.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. I mean, yeah, it did him well enough, I guess.
What's he doing now?
He was in Mr. Robot recently.
The reason they made those two movies, the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat and the Jim Carrey Grinch, is because Dr. Seuss was like, I'll never let them make a movie out of my books. And then he died. And then his wife was like, hey, whoever the highest bidder can make a movie out of all these books. And they like did those two like real quickly. And then I think the Cat in the Hat flopped and they were like, screw this. We don't need this anymore.
Maybe we should
Grinch.
make feature-length movies out of like absurdist 20-page long children's stories.
Tom, they made a new Grinch with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I forgot that came out 3 years ago, and I completely forgot that existed.
It's Tom, it's my niece's favorite movie.
Really?
She loves it, and she's 2.
Narrated by Pharrell Williams.
Really?
Yeah.
The man with the big hat?
The man with the big hat. No word on whether he was wearing the hat while he was doing the narration.
He probably was wearing the hat while he did the narration.
Yeah.
The big hat.
He was probably like, hey, the Grinch's heart's 2 sizes too small. My hat's 10 sizes too big.
Right. And then they were like, okay, we can edit that last part out.
And he was like, and then cut to a picture of me in the recording booth wearing the hat.
With the hat, yeah. There were no cameras there. They were like, sure thing, Pharrell.
That movie made $500 million.
Yeah, Tom. I caught some of it on,
it's 86
on television
minutes
the other
long,
night.
Too.
I mean, why should it be more than that?
Yeah, 86 minutes, I feel like, is the absolute bare minimum for something to be considered like a feature film that isn't.
I don't know. Some of these kids' movies, you're just like, I could do with 71 minutes. Like I'll call it a movie if it'll end.
Yeah, but I'm saying like modern day,
right? I don't know. It depends. But Tom, this one they flesh out the story. Cindy Lou Who, and I only caught some of this the other day. She's a badass girl boss in this.
Oh, like the baby boss.
Yeah, the boss baby. She like her whole plot line was like from the beginning. She's like, I'm gonna capture Santa Claus this year.
All right.
And I think that's how she winds up capturing the Grinch or catching him in the act.
So she's a girl boss, like a la Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos.
Yeah, ruthless.
Just completely ruthless.
Yeah.
She's going to trick a bunch of former secretaries of state into investing in her company.
So Tom, yeah, that's the Grinch. Tom, how do you feel about the Grinch, the character?
I mean, it's like a good, I don't know, morality tale.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I really loved the
Cartoon?
first, like the cartoon.
Yeah, the
it's
Chuck
25
Jones.
minutes.
Yeah.
And he's only a bastard for like 2/3 of that.
Yeah.
So like, there's like 18 minutes of the Grinch being a jerk,
Yeah.
right? And then he's supposed to be this, and like most of the time, he's just like, I don't know, chilling and being like, ugh, I don't
He's
like
scheming.
them when they sing these songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's scheming, but he's not like,
He's stewing, and then he kind of finds out like, oh, nobody thinks, nobody wishes you ill will, Grinch. You should come and join along.
yeah. Well, when he realizes that, like, oh, it's not about all the stuff,
Yeah.
and like, so these police officers in Texas arrested the Grinch last week.
Christ.
What?
Tim, I mean, maybe you're still sleep deprived. Do you understand the difference between reality and fiction?
They posted it on social media, Tom.
Okay.
There is a tree lighting ceremony in Texas,
Yeah.
and the cops thought it would be a very funny thing to do to dress somebody up in the Grinch costume.
Mm-hmm. It was
Dress
a pretty
somebody
good
up like the
costume,
Grinch.
too.
It was a good costume. Like, it makes me further question police department budgets.
Yeah.
But it's a big joke. They arrest him. They put handcuffs on him and walk him away, presumably to throw him in jail.
I want to give the context, by the way. Earlier today, you told me you wanted to do this. And then out of nowhere, you said, and it pissed me off that the police department arrested the Grinch for social media clout. Fuck them. And I said, I don't understand what that means. I really thought you would like.
Yeah, they thought it was a
Snapped.
cutesy little tweet and video that they were like, the Grinch tried to steal Christmas at the tree lighting, but we caught him.
Yeah.
But it's just like, that's against the whole spirit of the story.
Yeah.
The story wasn't like, let's get the Grinch and beat the shit out of him. Like, teach him to try to steal Christmas. It was like, oh, Christmas was in our hearts all along. And then the Grinch becomes rehabilitated.
Yeah,
They robbed him of that opportunity.
What did they even charge him with at the tree lighting ceremony? What crime
Conspiracy, probably?
Yeah. The person who was videotaping all this, they weren't yelling the whole time. What did he do? What are you charging with? What's your badge number? What's your badge number?
If you like the show, you can find us at tcgte.com. Tom, you got to take over. I not only have I not done this, usually I haven't been on the show in a month.
Yeah. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. Follow us on Twitter at complete guide. Follow us on Instagram at TCGTE. And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me at your pal Tim.
And hey, check out our Reddit. The Reddit's been popping off lately. Reddit.com/r/TCGTE.
Check out the Discord.
I put a link to the Discord on tcgte.com now.
Nice.
Because I don't really understand how you get to the Discord, and somebody on the subreddit didn't understand either. So I was like, you know what? I should probably make that easier. So there's like a bunch of people in there now. It's fun.
Did you mention the Patreon?
Patreon.com/complete guide, the most important place on the internet. You can get past episodes of Books to Podcasts. This month, we're doing all Christmas movies. Last week, Tim came back.
Tim and Tom at the movies.
Christmas time at the movies during Christmas time.
Yeah.
Last week we did Home Sweet Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be surprised at what we thought of it. And I mean, it still wasn't good, but it wasn't as bad as you would expect.
You're giving it away for free,
Hey,
Tom.
but you'll have to listen to find out. And this week we're doing Ernest Saves Christmas, another Christmas classic.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/complete guide to get those new episodes and all the old ones too.
So how did you enjoy doing the show with Christine? Did you find it to be easier?
I found it to be, honestly, I found it to be surprisingly similar to doing it with you. Which was why we asked her to do it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. I think you and her have a similar rapport to me and you.
Yeah.
She can be vicious.
It's like
as
51% friendly, 49% antagonistic.
Yeah. She's nice. I mean, she can be vicious. She can like talk about you behind your back, talk about how you tell the same story 5 times when she's really nice to your fucking face. But I'm glad she filled in.
She was just talking about how, I mean, I guess it doesn't make it better. She was talking about how you said parents being tired is a scam. And then when it happened to you, much like fucking everything you've ever experienced, that before you experience it, you think everybody's making too big of a deal out of it.
No, I just think everybody's exaggerating to get out of responsibility.
Yeah. And then when it happens to you, I mean, you've cited this like 10 different times. I mean, you know what kind of animal Mother Goose was. You'd immediately jump to, it's the baby's fault.
It's not the baby's fault. I mean,
that's basically what you said.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I said.
But yeah, it was fun doing the show with Christine. It was a different perspective on things. Christine wanted to do, we did one, people that listen know, we did one, Tom and Christine Solve Your Problems. And boy, she wanted to just keep doing that. And I had to explain, like, we don't get that many problems to do a weekly problems only episode. But if you have a problem, you should email us, completeguideeverything@gmail.com. We're going to try and do more.
Maybe we can get her back in to help us out with those sometime.
Yeah.
You know what? I found it very hard. I was listening to those episodes and like you guys the 2 of you are like my closest friends. Mm-hmm. So it was really weird. I kept wanting to like jump in. Like it felt like we were all hanging out and like I was like, oh, now I have something to say. And then, but like, then you guys like, just kept
Tom, Christine, shut up. I'm talking.
There were some things that I was just like, you guys got some things, or like Christine didn't know some basic like Cheers facts. Neither of you knew how many seasons Cheers and Frasier ran.
Yeah.
And like, instead of just like opening up IMDb, you guys speculated about it for like 5 full minutes.
Yeah, because we're talking. You do this when we're recording. All of a sudden, you'll just like go completely silent because you're looking something up when it doesn't really matter.
Well, I mean, you guys were speculating about it, like, oh, I could see that.
That's fine. Everybody likes to hear what's everybody's theories about how many seasons of the show there is.
All right. Well, it was good. Thank you to Christine, the backstabbing rat, for coming in. And yeah, that's my peace time. I got to go to bed.
All right. We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.